Hello everyone, welcome to a review of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Ooh. Since I made a video yesterday talking about the overall critical reception of this movie, and now that I've seen the movie, I thought I would go ahead and give my thoughts on what I actually think of it. You know, were the critics right or are the fans right with their 98% approval rating, which is really high. I don't think it's that high, spoiler warning, but yeah, I just thought I'd, go over my thoughts on this because I've gone over both the Sonic movies on my main channel, so I was like, hey, I should go over the Mario movie too. And my verdict, it's fine. But yeah, it's a Mario movie, all right. It's Mario, that's for sure. It captures the feel of the games perfectly. Like visually and musically, this is 100% a Mario movie. Like the team did such a good job with just so many visual iconography and the music cues and stuff. Like it feels like a Mario film. And that's great. The older one back in the 90s didn't feel like one at all. It was some weird fever dream. But this feels like a Mario movie, and that's great. I love all of the Mario stuff in this. They translate all these game concepts over to the movie so well. All these little gameplay gimmicks that you do in all the levels of the normal games are actual things that Mario interacts with here. And it's just so cool seeing them transfer all these things over with so much love. You can tell the people who made this movie do play Mario and they care about Mario, and it's great. And then the music too, they play all the correct cues at the right times. Even oh, I don't want to get into spoilers, but even some really obscure tracks get in the movie, and I love it because I'm a Mario nerd, so I recognized every single music cue they did, and I was like, general audiences aren't even gonna pick up on some of these, so I'm just so happy they're here. The Illuminationisms aren't terrible in this movie. They are here, but they don't ruin the overall experience. Whenever they rear their ugly head, I do groan a little bit, but again, like I said, it's not bad enough to ruin the entire experience. Nothing made me want to shout at the theater screen, except actually wait, maybe one thing did, but we'll get to that in the spoiler part of the review. But yeah, these aren't as bad as the Sonic movies. The Sonic movies have so many things that make me want to scream at the theater screen, what were you thinking? But this did not have anything all that bad, really. This is easily better than both of the Sonic movies, and I would consider myself more of a Sonic fan than a Mario fan, and I think this movie's better. It completely embraces the video game identity rather than trying to shove all the video game concepts into some weird live action thing, whatever those Sonic movies are. Now, with all of these positives being said, this movie isn't some kind of cinematic masterpiece or anything. I'll probably forget about it in a week, because besides all the fun references, nothing stuck with me while watching this movie. The plot is so thin, there's no proper setup or payoff for anything. Every character feels underdeveloped, things happen for the sake of happening, I guess, and the plot is just so quick. There's no time for you or the characters to breathe. It just is running through the storyline at a breakneck speed. And I guess I can't really get any deeper into this without getting into spoilers, so yeah, this will end the non-spoiler section. I'd say the movie is a 6 out of 10. You'll probably like it. I liked it, but I hate that I'm gonna spend the next month hearing about how this is the greatest movie of all time, because it's not. It's fine. It's fun, and that's all it's trying to be, and that's fine, I guess. So yeah, now we're gonna talk about spoilers. First off, Luigi, my man, got so sidelined, it's not even funny. The movie at the start is just oh, Luigi, he's the cowardly brother, and then he gets captured and given no screen time or development, except for that one baby flashback, which was cute, but also it's that's it? That's all you're giving us? And then in the climax of the movie, poof, he's back, and I guess he's just not a coward anymore. Wahoo! Oh, seriously, Luigi got so sidelined, because the movie was setting up at the start where it was oh, he's gonna be the heart of the movie, Mario and Luigi's relationship. This is the emotional core of the film. That's what the beginning felt like it was setting up to me, but then Luigi just vanishes. He doesn't even have any scenes with Bowser. That one scene that they put in all the trailers between Luigi and Bowser, that's it! That's their only scene together in the movie, and then Bowser just throws him in a cage and he does nothing. It's I feel like this movie would have worked better if Mario and Luigi had more scenes together, if Luigi didn't get captured and actually went with Mario on the journey, and then the emotional core of the movie could be their brotherly bond and how they always stick together no matter what, and maybe their brotherly bond inspires the Toads or the Kongs or something. You could have made that work, because right now this movie doesn't have an emotional core, and it feels like that was the natural, obvious one that the prologue was setting up, but then they don't do it, so I mean, whatever, it's fine, I guess, but yeah, no, justice for Luigi, man, seriously, it's so bad. Also, for Bowser, he's a simp. I guess, like, yeah, he's always been a simp, obviously. Like, the whole wedding thing that they do in the movie comes straight out of Mario Odyssey. But every single scene is just him simping. It's a little annoying. Like, I had fun with it, but it was, like, a little annoying because, like, he's not threatening at all as a villain. It's like, oh, okay, he's just a joke. Like, I'm not supposed to care, which, again, it's a Mario movie. I guess you're not supposed to care, but I kind of want to care. Like, I feel like in a narrative, you should be slightly intimidated by the villain, but I don't feel intimidated by him. He's like, oh, I have the Power Star, but he never uses it. Like, he just has the Power Star, and that's why we're supposed to be threatened by him, but he never uses it. It only gets used once in the movie by Mario, so, like, I don't know why I'm supposed to be scared of the Power Star. But I will give shoutouts to them playing the Bowser's Fury theme during that first scene in the castle. I was pleasantly surprised by that inclusion. Like, they were working on that game while they were working on this movie. Like, that Bowser's Fury came out while they were making this movie, and they still decided to reference it. Like, that's cool, and that's something I didn't really elaborate on in the non-spoiler section, but, like, the references are balanced. Like, it's not just the old classic stuff, because, like, in the Sonic movies, it feels like they only ever reference, like, the 90s or maybe sometimes the early 2000s, but in this movie, they reference all of Mario's history. Like, there's stuff referencing the old games and the new games equally, and I love it, because I love all the Mario stuff, so I'm glad that the movie also loves all of that stuff. Like, the Mario Kart scene, they give clear references to Mario Kart 8, like, they use the Mario Kart 8, like, kart customization, and the Mario Kart 8, like, hover stuff, like the anti-gravity. Like, that's cool. I love that they weren't just like, oh, we're gonna reference the SNES Mario Kart because, I don't know, that's the old good one. No, they reference all of the stuff. It's great. Alright, I'm gonna talk about Peach and Toad together because they both have the exact same problem. They just, like, befriend Mario immediately for no reason, and they never have any sort of scenes developing any sort of friendship. It's just like, oh, we're a team now, I guess, and we care about each other, yay. I felt nothing towards their characters, and then they tried giving Peach a backstory where she was like a baby, and it went nowhere. Like, I thought it was setting something up, but it just didn't. Like, they do that flashback and then it's like, okay, we're done. That's all Peach is doing in this movie. So, I don't know, man. Like, I just want to care about these relationships. Like, obviously I care about these characters in, like, other media, but I want to care about these versions of the characters. I want them to have fun relationships and dynamics. And this movie just doesn't give me anything to work with. Like, Mario, Peach, and Toad should have been like a fun trio in this movie, but they never get any scenes to be a fun trio, which is really sad. The only character who has, like, a meaningful relationship with Mario, or at least, like, a fun one, is Donkey Kong. Like, that was it. Besides Mario and Luigi at the beginning, but, you know, Luigi disappears 15 minutes into the movie, so it doesn't matter. Donkey Kong and Mario have that, like, rivalry going on, and it's a lot of fun. I love that they just, like, never have a reconciling. Like, that scene in, like, The Fish, where it's supposed to be like, oh, it's gonna be the cliche, you know, the enemies realize that they have more in common. Like, no, they just subvert that completely, and they're just like, no, they still hate each other. Like, I loved that. That was great. Donkey Kong was probably the best character in the movie somehow, except that one part where Seth Rogen did the Seth Rogen laugh. I groaned when that happened. I hate the Seth Rogen laugh. I did not want to be reminded that this guy is voiced by Seth Rogen. You know what, speaking of the cast, they all did fine. I'm not mad at Chris Pratt anymore. I never was really, like, that mad at him in the first place. I'm just kind of, like, numb. I think what he did for the movie made sense. I'd prefer if Charles Martinet just voiced him, but oh well. We're not gonna get that because welcome to Hollywood. It has to be a celebrity, but, like, their voices aren't bad by any means. The cast is perfectly serviceable. I was never, like, pulled out of the movie by them, except the Seth Rogen laugh, which I mentioned earlier. They were all fine. And also, Charles Martinet's cameo was very cute. I actually did like that, and I think him voicing Mario's dad was a cool touch as well. And with that, let's just talk about the main man Mario now, and his lack of a character arc. Like, his dad isn't proud of him, I guess, and that's it. And he's like, oh man, I have to live up to expectations, I guess. I have to prove to the world that I'm not a loser, and that's it. But it's like there's really no scenes showing that he's a loser except, like, Spike saying, haha, you're a loser, and then the dog thing happening, but that wasn't even their fault, so he's not really a loser. I don't know, that arc, like, just went nowhere, and it felt so undercooked and underdeveloped. Like, that's the emotional core of the movie, that Mario thinks he's a loser, but then I guess he just proves that he's not by saving the world. Yay. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but, like, seeing Mario's family was so weird. I don't want to see them again. That just, I don't know, man. Like, it was just weird. The entire Brooklyn intro was weird in general. Like, I didn't hate it, but it felt more Illumination than Mario. Especially like I was mentioning that dog scene earlier. That dog scene just felt like it was an Illumination movie. Like, there was no Mario anything going on there. So yeah, like, there's no emotional arc to grab onto. It's just set piece after set piece. And yeah, these set pieces are really cool. I loved watching them. That Rainbow Road sequence, that's like out of my childhood dreams. Like, that's the kind of stuff I would picture in my head as a kid. It's like when I was playing Mario Kart, I was like, ooh, this is what it probably looks like if it was like a super cool movie. I would just picture scenes exactly like that scene in the Mario movie. And I love that. That's so cool. I just wish there was like something to care about, like emotionally. Like, I wish I cared more about the characters going through these set pieces. Because the set pieces on their own are cool, but they could have been better if I cared about the overall story going on. That scene at the end where Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, and Donkey Kong team up to take down Bowser and have a cool team-up shot, I felt nothing. Yeah, I care about these characters, but not these versions of them. This movie did nothing to make me care about their bonds or their friendships or their journeys. It's exactly like I felt in Sonic 2 when Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles did their team-up shot. Yeah, it's the Sonic heroes. I love them, but not these versions of them. I just don't care about them. And I'm not even asking for anything crazy, like people are gonna say, oh, it's the Mario movie. Were you expecting a deep plot? No, but I was expecting a plot. I was expecting like some sort of arc. This movie just has nothing. Like, there's nothing to work with. Like, just give me something simple. Like, I'm not asking for anything complicated. Like, just something, please. And then the movie just like ends. Like, they beat Bowser, then they listen to Mr. Blue Sky, roll credits. It's like, it's a weird ending. There's like no resolution to anything. It's just over. But also, I guess like they didn't really set up anything to resolve. So I guess I kind of get it. But it just felt like the ending came out of nowhere. Like, it was so quick. And speaking of them playing Mr. Blue Sky at the end of the movie, those pop songs are the one thing in this movie that genuinely frustrated me. Like, you got the rights to use Mario music, and you used the Mario music multiple times during the movie to great effect. So why would you choose to put in I Need a Hero or Thunderstruck or Take on Me or Mr. Blue Sky? Like, why? Who asked for this? You were doing so good with the music, but then you had to ruin it. You had to ruin it. Like, those sequences where they used the pop songs would have been so cool with like more Mario music. Cause like there's so many scenes where the Mario music makes it so much better. Like the climax where like it plays the star theme while Mario and Luigi are like going all super. That's so much fun. You could have done that in those sequences, but instead it's just like, no, we're gonna play AC/DC here for some reason. The Mario spirit. I did like the credits melody. That was nice. When Gusty Garden Galaxy played, I was like, oh yeah, this is my jam, because Galaxy's my game. And then, oh, they credited Iwata. They left him in the credits. I was not expecting that. That's genuinely so sweet. Whoever put that in, like, good work. I am so glad that Iwata's legacy was being preserved. And I think those are all my spoiler thoughts. So back to my non-spoiler thesis. It's a fun movie, fun Mario shenanigans, but the plot is boring. I'm gonna forget this in a week. There's no character stuff at all. I would take another one of these over another Sonic movie. This is better than the Sonic movies, but I just wish that it was better. Like, we're taking steps in the right direction, but we're just not really at the point that I want video game movies to be at yet. We're getting closer. Like, this is a better step. Like, I liked this movie, but I want to love it, and I can't love it yet because there's things just holding it back. Is the 50-something critic score justified? Kind of. I get where it's coming from, because it's like, if you don't care about Mario, like, at all, this movie really is just a 50-something. Like, there's, like, nothing to latch onto if you don't care about the references. So, if you're a critic reviewing this movie and you don't care about Mario, I get why you would give it a 50-something. Or even if you care about Mario, like, I care about Mario, and I'm still just giving this a 6 out of 10, because it's like, yeah, the references were fun, but there's nothing else to latch onto. So I get where the critic score's coming from. I think it probably should have been a little bit higher. Like, I think somewhere between a 60 or a 70 would be a bit more accurate for this movie. So I do think it's a little low, but like, it shouldn't be that much higher. Like, people who are saying, oh, this is ridiculously low of a score for the critics to give it, No, I think they're pretty close. They're closer than that audience score of a 98. Like, no, this is not no, it's not that high. My final note I'm going to say is, did you guys see King Boo in the wedding scene? Because I've mentioned this to so many people, and I think everyone thinks I'm crazy. Did King Boo's face look weird to you? Like, there's no images of him online yet because he was like a background cameo, but King Boo's face, I looked at it, it didn't look right. Is this just me? Did anyone else see King Boo's face? Did it look weird to you guys? Something was up with his eyes. I don't know if I'm crazy. Maybe I just need to rewatch the movie. Maybe I was just like seeing something that wasn't actually there, but I thought King Boo's face looked weird. And that's just, I just wanted to say that because I've heard no one else talking about it. So leave a comment if you think King Boo's face is weird or if you think I'm crazy for thinking his face was weird, and that's how I'm gonna end this video. Yeah, talk about the movie in the comments. Bye.